You're listening to Shoe In, covering the ins and outs of all things footwear, from sneakers to heels, loafers to slippers, and every type of shoe in between. Brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear. And now your footwear insiders, Matt Priest and Andy Polk.
Shoe lovers, welcome back to the Shoe In Show, where we try to pull back the curtain on the footwear industry and showcase all the different things happening technology-wise, business model-wise, why brands make decisions that they do, how it impacts consumers, all sorts of stuff around the business of the footwear industry. I'm joined somewhere by Matt Priest. Matt, are you there?
I'm here, my friend. I'm still sequestered in my basement doing social distancing from Andy Polk. So it's key to our health.
Excellent. And Jasmine, are you with us as well? Jasmine, are you with us as well? Maybe we lost Jasmine. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yes, no, there you are.
I'm here. Okay, great.
Awesome.
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. As you know, we are continuing to promote safe social distancing during this challenging time in our industry. But during challenging times also presents huge opportunities to give us pause and think about our strategies and our models, and how when crises ends, which they all do at some point, how we reemerge stronger and better than ever. And during this challenging times, we wanted to bring in a key technology company that's helping brands and retailers transform their experiences that they give consumers, and also help them use technology to give better fit and guidance for the products they know and love. Right, Matt?
That's right, Andy. And so I'm extremely excited to welcome our next guest. You know, we taped this podcast during this time from 5 different locations. And now we're going international, which I'm really excited about. But our guest is Chief Technology Officer and co-founder of Volumental, Alper Aldemir. And Alper, we are so excited that you're on. We really gravitate, Andy and I, towards the innovators in our industry. You're one of those guys. And so thanks for making the time to be on Shoe In Show. And we look forward to having a really robust conversation with you.
Yeah, really excited to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so let's start out. Yeah, go ahead, Andy.
Go for it, Matt.
All right, let's start off from the bat as we go back and forth. Talk to us about the Volumental story. What we do with our guests many times is say, tell us your shoe story, but this is broader than just shoes, Alper. So tell us the Volumental story, and then give us kind of the rundown of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So Volumental, we are a technology startup out of Stockholm, the Royal Institute of Technology here in Stockholm. And it's from the artificial intelligence, computer vision lab of the university. And the initial idea was to 3D scan people and bodies. And we've seen that pretty quickly that there's this enormous need and potential opportunity in the footwear industry for 3D scanning folks and matching that to shoes, and also improving the online purchasing experience through that. So the company has its roots in, is its DNA in as a tech company. And we are about 50 people sitting in Stockholm, and we do everything in-house. So everything from algorithms and design and the whole thing. So yeah, that's what.
Awesome. We not too long ago, maybe in the past year or so, we had a friend of mine who runs a Fleet Feet out in Augusta, Georgia, come on and talk about his business and what he's doing to sell running shoes out of Fleet Feet in Augusta. And one of the things that he mentioned to me recently was that they've been using Volumental, your technology, and it's really had a huge impact on their bottom line. And maybe let's talk a bit about the brick and mortar application you guys have, because as he explained it to me, was it allows a customer to come in, get their feet scanned really quickly. I think that's the concern is traditional scanners that we see aren't always accurate. and take a long time. And you guys have new technology that scans your feet really quickly, and then it attaches to his inventory. So is that accurate way to describe what you guys are doing for in-store experience? Maybe speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. In part. So what we started with, this was maybe almost 2 years ago now. We started from the experience end. We didn't set out to build let's build a scanner, but we set out to figure out what would make the best experience in store for customers, and what technology do we need to build to get there. And to be honest with you, in the beginning, we weren't even sure if we were going to make it in terms of whether technology is there or not. Right. Because to build something that works, that just takes a few seconds, that works robustly across hundreds of stores and survive in a harsh environment like retail, and it's easy to use, as easy as just a button click, and you don't need any other training. And on top of that, it's accurate and it's affordable. So all of these things, I think that I would even say that in the beginning we were probably quite naive in terms of we didn't really think of how big of a challenge this was going to be. Right. But anyways, we started from the experience end, and we said that, okay, it has to take really a few seconds. It can't take more than that, because on a busy Saturday, you don't have much more than that. Right. And also it has to be a single button click. People don't have the patience to sit around and fiddle with gizmos and so on. And that it needs to present the results in a very sleek UI. And also our customers, meaning these brands and retailers, they are very design conscious companies themselves. So this thing has to look good, almost as good as the shoes, Right. Right. So that's why we had to build the company, and we already had technical DNA, as I mentioned, but we also had to add pretty aggressively those design elements and storytelling elements to the company. If a customer walks into the store and they say, I want to, try these shoes on, and you have your product in the store, the sales rep can walk them over there. They take their shoes off. They stand on the platform for say 5 seconds, and then it accurately measures their width and their, I don't know what else is it, their strike or something like that, or gives a number of information, and then it attaches with the inventory. So for the inventory attachment, is it scanning those shoes and understanding the lasts in order to make a better fit? There's a lot of data and science to what you guys are doing, correct? Yeah, exactly. So that's, one side of it is the 3D scanning part, but then the other side, as you mentioned, is matching those scans with the inventory. And when it comes to that, we don't actually measure shoes. We don't even see the shoes and so on. Right. We don't have to. What we do is we get the data between which scan bought which shoe. Right. And that way we flip that around, and then what you can do is that you can say this shoe has been purchased by all these scans. So that gives you sometimes we used to call this in the company ghost feet, sort of an average foot, an average AI feet of everybody who has bought that shoe in that size. So when we scan a new customer, we can actually compare your 3D shape, your scan, to all of those and pull up a sort of best fit. It's kind of crowdsourcing, right? I don't know if that's the right word, but kind of crowdsourcing that data to see what's what. Yeah, it's all database. So it's crowdsourcing the purchases, and that type of information is also readily available. So it's really just connecting those 2 points, and then we have the people that can actually make sense of that. That part isn't also trivial. It's not like you just get the purchases, you get scans, and then you just do a comparison. It's not that easy, but that's how it works.
Hey, Alper, let me ask you this. Let's have you speak to the movement to the use of e-commerce. And we all have mobile phones, everything. I saw a commercial the other day. If you get in a car wreck, you can use your mobile phone to take a picture and file a claim. So we're using our phones to do everything, major and minor. Talk about how the technology is integrated with smartphones and how people can utilize the application that way?
Sure. So first of all, if you got scanned in a store or elsewhere, because some of our customers take it to events, marathons, and so on, you can use that scan and you can use your recommendations online as well. So that's something that individual like consumers can do. So you just log in with your same email address that you used to get scanned, and then you will be able to get footwear recommendations. And like if you're on a product page, you will just say, "This is your size. You should buy this size." On top of that, what we our customers can do is we can reach out to people, these shoppers, with very personalized messages. So that is to a point where every message you send contains something unique about that individual. That's their 3D shape. It doesn't get more personal than that. So we are sort of enabling our customers to thrive in these like online channels based upon what they have built in brick and mortar, which I think is a great synergistic thing. And when it comes to the mobile, like doing scanning on mobile, we're actively working on that. That I think is one of the holy grails. And nobody has actually, I've been working in this for quite some time. I was working before this at NASA and then worked at like Google with doing 3D scanning on mobile phones. And nobody has really figured out a good way of scanning or measuring one's own body and then connecting that to products, because the UX isn't there. It's too cumbersome, and when it's not cumbersome, it's really it's not accurate. But what we are working on currently is actually being able to building an app that lets you scan on your mobile phone. And we're also leveraging that. We're also doing that like data-based, all machine learning, artificial intelligence based. And it's not going to be better than the scanners at first instance, but it will be much better than what like individual people can guess about their size and so on. So we're quite excited about this actually. But we see, at least I see it as almost like an ecosystem of things. You go to the store, you get scanned there. People expect that these days. Then you can use that data online, either in your customer outreach or on your like e-commerce website and so on. And then down the line, at some point in the like short-term future, you'll be able to scan on your mobile phone and also combine these things, right? Like if you get scanned in a store and then you open your app, you will see that scan in your app.
That's cool.
So,
that's really
because
cool.
the consumers don't care. Yeah.
If we're going to an omni-channel, everything's focused on omni-channel and having seamless interaction between all the different channels, no matter where you purchase product from. It's important that the technology follows suit. And so I guess my question for you is, how easy and or difficult is it to set up the scanner in a brick and mortar? Because nowadays with technology, even from a personal perspective, one of the things that Apple did so well, for example, is that when you got a phone, it was minimalist. There was very small instructions. Everything's kind of intuitive. It's easy to set up. And so we all have been socialized to expect that from any technology we onboard, whether it's personal or corporate. So talk to us about the onboarding process and what that looks like. So as people roll these out in their different brick and mortar locations.
Sure. So that's really one of my favorite parts about the product. The onboarding and unboxing, like getting everything set up takes like something like 5 minutes, and you don't need any like special tools, any training. The scanner comes with out from the box, and then the only thing you need to do is you need to attach some USB cameras, and then you just plug it to power, and it's on. That's it. So we have designed the product from the ground, and that's one of the reasons why it's been so difficult actually building something that works, because we knew early on that we can't possibly go all these like thousands of locations around the world one by one and like set it up. So we designed it so that a store staff on their first day of receiving the scanner, they should be able to assemble it and have it ready within the first like 15 minutes. And that's
awesome.
And that's how it works. So it's, and that's really it.
Cool. We're talking about all these applications and technologies. There's this idea, and Alper, I want to get your insights to where we're headed, right? You guys are building these great tools that are already in use, but there's this future that of footwear that some of us talk about where we're headed. And I'm just wondering, from a futuristic viewpoint, when we start having this data en masse, all of a sudden it seems like having a foot scan can be an identifier for an individual, so that if it tags into a retail website online, you may not even see shoe sizes anymore because it would identify your scan to what the inventory is already there, eliminating one more click on the website. So it's almost an instant purchase, reducing like reducing the friction that you have to make a purchase. I don't know. Is that one of the things that you see this will eventually enable people to do?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the size will be out of the equation. It has to be at some point with this. You shouldn't even think about it, since
right.
that's the thing for machines to figure out, not for humans. Just humans, we're better at creativity. We're better
right.
at knowing what's our style and what are our goals. I want to run a half marathon this year, for instance, things of that nature, and just let the machines handle things like, does this fit into that, and so on. So one analogy that I like is, and that goes, for brick and mortar and for online, right? So it just is a much better experience. And also there are lots of hidden pain points, I think, that people don't maybe mention it so much. But my co-founder, for instance, she often says that she has large feet, and that's one of the things that she hates is that when they bring in a box and it doesn't fit, and then bring another one and it doesn't fit, and so on, and it just becomes this painful experience. If you knew that that's not going to happen, that just adds to a more pleasurable in-store experience.
Right, and that leads to that's the challenge with e-commerce, right? Is you can sell 3 pairs and somebody ships back 2. And then all of a sudden you don't have to worry so much about the fit. Is if your foot scan and it attaches to the inventory, and you've crowdsourced all that information to know this is the best fit you're going to get for your foot. Because the other thing is too, people forget is we all think we're really good drivers, right? Everybody thinks they're an amazing driver, but in reality, probably not. And everybody thinks they know that. Everybody thinks they know their exact fit for their foot. And what I saw recently was somebody was like, a lot of people actually missize their shoes because they're not aware, and we've lost that touch at many stores where they actually measure and fit the shoes properly. Not many people do that anymore. So it's almost solving that whole challenge of making sure right off the bat, if you got a scan and it's attached to this inventory, you don't have to worry about it, right? You don't have to have that fear.
Yeah, and also I think there's another side benefit that maybe is a bit hidden, but it's interesting anyways, is that in a lot of employees working in footwear stores, they maybe just started working there, or they may be new or part-timers and so on. And a tool like this, we've seen that just turns them into expert store associates in such a short amount of time.
That's a good point.
If you want to achieve that in other ways, it can be quite costly in terms of wide scale training programs and so on and so forth. But then you anyways have a high churn. But using a scanner, we see that you kind of are able to maintain a high service level across your whole network and over time as well. So that's another point in the brick and mortar. In addition to what the consumers are experiencing, which are tied together, right? And then on the online side, the analogy that I like actually is that when it comes to like online, we've really only sold so far the very basics of commerce, right? Like if you think about it, if you think about a Maslow's pyramid of needs type of thing, right? Like at the bottom you have air and food and shelter, right?
And at the top is shoes, right? Did I get that right?
Exactly. Footwear first. Footwear always first.
When you like, if you try to think about that from the perspective of online e-commerce, what we've so far figured out is you can pay for stuff and you can get stuff delivered, right? So you can sort of buy things online, and that already sort of created like $100 billion companies, like PayPal and this and that and Amazon. But you can't really, if you want to shop, you still have to go on the high street today. I know. So that's another analogy that I sometimes think about a lot. How do we enable consumers to shop online as well, not just buy online? And it's through these elevated, personalized experiences that will happen, I think.
Hey, Alper, let's pivot. I heard the D word a number of times, the data, right? And the importance of having your data kind of move across brick and mortar experience into the mobile experience and vice versa. You guys are based in Europe. Europe treats personal data much more stringently and probably more appropriately than the United States. The United States is just trying to come to grips about how to empower its citizens with its protection of its own data. And so how does the company, as you're collecting data, how does the company tackle the data issue? Because it's clearly important to enhance the experience and make sure that the technology is effective for both retailers and consumers alike. But at the same time, we're in this age of more scrutiny over the movement of personal data across platforms and protection. So talk to us about how the company views data as it relates to kind of the regulatory concerns that are out there.
Yeah, sure. So we take that very, very seriously, being like a technology company, but also, as you mentioned, in Europe, these things are a little bit more strict, although the rest of the world are catching up also. But also our people working at the company, they care about these aspects as well. So I think those are why like we're really serious about data privacy and protection. We do all the things that the law like requires us to do. For instance, having a data security officer, and we sort of have all the like we go through the checks and balances of who has access to data and siloing the data and so on and so forth. When it comes to like the Europe-US difference, we've actually haven't seen any sort of that this becomes a blocker for any like thing that we want to accomplish. That's also in part because the companies are adjusting to GDPR wherever they may be, actually. With every scan that we make, we offer this option that the scan is sent to the shoppers as an email as well, so they can contact us anytime if they have any requests about deleting the data or taking the data back. We don't get very many such requests, but whenever we get them, we of course act upon it. So yeah, I think in general it's great that we're having more awareness in data privacy and these issues.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I'm actually on your website right now. It's volumental.com. And people who visit that, the tagline is "Building a world that fits you like it." And then it actually has a video where people can see the actual in-store brick and mortar technology where the person steps on it and what it does. So it's a good website to go to look at and see what it's talking about. And then there's also a video that flows on scanning with the mobile. So both of those are there. And of course, Volumental has been speaking at different FDRA summits for several years now. We appreciate the support and believe in the product that you're making and delivering to our members and footwear companies around the world to help them build their own worlds that fit their customers as best as possible.
Yeah.
So with that, I do want to bring in Jasmine. Jasmine does a world famous fashion, footwear, and focus segment where she's going to tell us the latest fashion trend for footwear, and then she's going to let us weigh in. Although she probably should not, she's going to let us weigh in on that trend and see what we think. So Jasmine, what do you got for us this week?
Well, okay, so I would love to give Alper's input on this because, the weather is starting to break and starting to get a little warmer. So during this time, for like the past several years, I've seen like a lot of cowboy boots as festivals have gotten popular, and then a lot of like canvas slip-on sneakers for the guys and girls too. So in Sweden, are those like the normal spring trends, like, or is it just mostly sandals? Like, what do you see from your end once the weather starts to break?
I would say it's a lot of sneakers.
Okay.
Some boots. I mean, the weather here isn't like spring comes late here. It's a bit high up in Scandinavia. That's what I think is what I'm saying. But I guess I'm also limited to my own bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah, well, sneakers are popular, but you just don't want to assume that it's everywhere. But yeah, definitely, it's definitely taken over. I think that's everyone's preference now.
Yeah, I mean, sneakers are
yeah. So
comfortable.
I'm excited to buy some for the spring as well as I'm sure the rest of our office will. I know Andy just bought some new sneakers too, so everybody is.
I did. Yep. Matt, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I think sneakers are like, I mean, they're kind of like the blue jeans of footwear. They are globally acceptable now. Everyone wears them, cross-cultural. There's really no corner of the earth that people don't wear sneakers, and I think that that's kind of where we are at with it, and I'm all for it because it is both fashionable and comfortable.
Yeah, true. Absolutely true. Well, folks, thank you for listening to another great episode of Shoe and Show. I want to thank Alper from Volumental for coming on and chatting with us today about their technology and how they're helping companies transform and better fit their customer, giving them some really great experiences. Again, it's volumental.com where you can visit that. And Alper, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been really, really exciting talking with you.
Awesome. And folks, you can find us at shoeandshow.com, see our entire catalog of 200 plus episodes. You can listen to us on all major audio platforms from Spotify to iTunes. Please rate us. Please drop us a line on our website. In the bottom left-hand corner, there is a voice note capability now. When you click on that, you can record a message to us on your computer, and the really good ones we will play on air. So drop us a line to let us know how we're doing. Drop us a line to let us know your questions. Drop us a line to let us know what topics or who you would like to have us, who you would like us to have on the show to talk to and about different topics impacting our industry. So until next time, thank you very much, and Shoe In is out.
Shoe In has been brought to you by the FDRA, the Footwear Industries Association focused on retail, trade, politics, and fashion, helping create and enhance conversations on all things footwear. For information about FDRA, visit fdra.org.